Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow humans. Welcome back to Stranded Survivors. My name is Matt, and I am one of your co-hosts.
My name is Jericho. I'm a co-host of the Stranded Survivors podcast, along with Matt. We're a podcast all about Ark. Matt, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm sick. I'm sick of being sick. My kids brought home the sinus crap going around, and I am the most recent victim. So, trucking on through, living life as normal. It's nothing bad, just like annoying head pressure crap. So just enough to be annoying. But aside from that, doing great. Everything's good, feeling good, working out, living the dream, man. How about you?
Honestly, I'm not doing bad. Work is definitely a little crazy here, especially a lot of supervisors leaving, different things like that. But other than that, man, just been hanging out with the wife and playing some Call of Duty with friends.
Oh yeah, which one? The newest one?
Just been playing Warzone, to be honest.
Gotcha. Can't go wrong.
Mm-mm.
Well, good, man. So, aside from, some happenings and stuff, I want to pull us right in, and I want to jump into the Dino Dossier of the week here.
Awesome.
So, this week, I'm sure you've noticed by the title, we are ranking all of the aquatic creatures in a tier list. Everything in the ocean, everything that goes in the water is going to get placed in a tier. And there are two creatures that are listed as aquatic creatures that, in my opinion, are not. One of them is the Dino Dossier, and that is the Castroides, also known as the beaver. But Jericho, before I read the beaver's dossier, can you guess, and can everybody else at home, can you guys guess what the other aquatic creature is that I would not consider an actual aquatic creature?
I'm going to say potentially, you probably think of this thing is a diplo.
The Diplodocus. See, I do consider that to be an aquatic creature because you'll mostly find that in the water most of the time.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the Andrewsarchus, the pig-looking thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't think. It's weird, but anyway, I digress. So the beaver, Castroides felicancasar, from the late Pliocene to the late Pleistocene era, it was an herbivore with a friendly temperament. Castroides is a large mammalian herbivore that tends to live near water. Unlike other larger beaver species, this one retains the chisel-shaped teeth of modern beavers. As is typical for beavers, they build dams as habitats, but the larger creatures on the island have a tendency to trample them. As a result, finding unsullied dams in the wild is quite rare. Castroides itself doesn't seem to realize how dangerous the island is. I don't know if it's simply too dumb to notice the dangers or if it just doesn't care, but Castroides happily goes about its day playing in the water and gnawing on wood. I feel you, Castroides. Domesticated. The value of a tamed Castroides is obvious from its physiology. The creature naturally gathers wood extremely efficiently, far more than most species on the island. It's not the strongest creature, so it can only carry limited amounts, but it is a natural lumberjack. Love Helena. So, shucks. Jericho, you really can't go wrong with a beaver. I feel like it's easier to get than a Therizino, but arguably pretty close to as effective at gathering wood.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty effective, about the same. The only bonus to the beaver is going to be the weight reduction with the wood, because the Therizino does not get that, but the Therizino technically collects all these other things better. But I would say the beaver is probably the go-to for wood just because of the weight reduction.
Doesn't it have, isn't its saddle something special too?
Ooh, I think you're right. I think the saddle actually crafts stuff, kind of like a smithy type thing.
It's pretty solid. I don't consider it an aquatic creature, so we are not going to put it on this tier list. We'll save that for the working dino or something else like that. But long story short, that's the Dino Dossier of the week.
Mm.
So, Jericho.
Yes.
Main title content. We got, there's a lot of them here, like 28 or something like that, creatures that we need to put in a tier system here. So, those of you that are not familiar with tier ranking systems, We are going to go through every single creature in the order that it appears in the aquatic creature list on the Dodo Decks, which is a fantastic app and website. Go check that out if you haven't already seen it. And we're going to assign them all a grade, just like when we were in grade school. A will be the best, or I guess S would be the best for superior, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think S will do it for the best.
Yeah. So S tier, then A, B, C, D, and F tier being the bottom. F tier is, might as well remove it from the game. And S tier is, you absolutely need this God tier dino. So that's what the system is going to be. And Jericho, how do you want to do this? Do you want me to run through the list here? Do you have it pulled up that you want to bounce back and forth and take turns? Like, how do you want to run this?
I think if you just name off the creatures and with the list that you have, and we'll just kind of, go back and forth on what we think it's going to be here.
Oi. Well, starting off top of the list here, I'm pretty sure this goes alphabetically. Hey, it does go alphabetically. Oh, fancy that. The first one is Ammonite. So it's got the big snail shell and then the squid tentacles coming off of the bottom of it. You can't tame it, you can't ride it, you can't breed it, and if you flick it or sneeze on it, it's gonna fart ink everywhere, and that gives you a rare flower for 60 seconds. So it basically releases a pretty nasty pheromone on you if you attack it, and you need to kill it for the bile, which you use for pheromone darts, I believe. So look at that. That's about the only use that I can think of, but still, it's annoying, man.
Yeah, there's not even any sort of reason or conversation I feel like that needs to be had. That's an F tier.
F tier. Boom. Drop it on the incinerator. It's gone.
Yeah, goodbye.
All right, up next, we got... Yeah, bye-bye. Up next, we got the anglerfish. Ooh. What do you think about that?
I think, honestly, anglerfish overall, especially unofficial, right, is beyond useful because you don't then have to swim down. So I'm going to say, man, I might take some flack for this. I'm going to say it's going to be an A tier.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Okay, good. I was hoping.
I would say that it is not an S tier, just due to the fact that it doesn't have the greatest combat capabilities. It's kind of squishy. It's relatively low DPS. But the fact that it can gather pearls just by biting them and then, swim up and down so fast, you arguably don't even need a scuba tank when you have one. You just have to pay attention to your oxygen. So, super, super valuable, but not quite God tier.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like you said, no battle fighting capabilities. If you got 30 sharks, you're getting cooked up.
Oh, yeah. You got to run. You got to Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack get the heck out of there.
That's right.
Up next, we got the baryonyx. So that, I'm assuming everybody knows what a baryonyx is, but if you don't, it's the stupid little bipedal crocodile that'll pick you up and just walk off with you. It's got the little stun attack.
That thing's annoying.
That area of effect stun attack, I would say, is its most useful feature, and QC figured out that it's relatively decent in caves. So I mean, it's not a bad dino. It's just not one of the first ones that come to mind when I think of sweet dinos.
Yeah, especially for aquatic dinos here, man, I'm not gonna lie, it's not an F tier. I see it still being in the game per se, but I'm gonna say a D tier.
For sure. I was gonna say C, but I think you've convinced me to drop it down to a D. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stick the baryonyx in the D tier.
Yeah, let's do the D, man. I think, like you said, I think it could be a C, but let's do the D.
Up next, we are going to do, in my opinion, a total flip coming from the baryonyx, moving up to the basilosaurus, the good old basil. There's very little to discuss there. S tier, by all means, S tier. The fact that it's immune to the shock and immune to the torpor abilities of the eels and of the jellyfish, and it can have an amazing HP pool. It can hit pretty hard. The only drawback is that if you go too deep, it'll start to take damage. But I mean, ocean spooky, so why go that deep in the first place?
Yeah, overall S tier, like you said, health, especially for PvP, is really high, and you can use it as a soaker. And it's the only negative is when you get deep, it gets damaged, and how slow it is. S tier for sure.
Can people put turrets underwater?
Yeah, they can put them in caves. Underwater caves.
Dang. Yeah, that would definitely come in super, super handy. It's your little water stegos.
Yep.
Up next, we got the Nidaria, the jellyfish thingies.
Oh.
I don't know how to pronounce that. It's got a C in it. Cnidaria. That's a fun word. So, the jellyfish, they're evil. I've got a personal vendetta against them in the first place, so screw jellyfish in real life, screw them in the game. I don't care. I don't have any argument for them, and I don't want to hear any argument for them. They're an F tier. They can go extinct. Real life. Goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're not useful other than to get the jelly to be able to make tranks or to make whatever it's, But other than that, no, they're not useful at all, and I'm gonna do an F tier also.
Yeah, I mean the tranks are relatively useful and all that, but it's not worth it in my opinion. It's annoying, man. Again, with a good Bassel, they're completely irrelevant and they're nothing to worry about, and they're just little water balloons to nibble on. But in general, in real life,
Yeah,
screw jellyfish.
I agree.
So therefore, screw Nidaria.
Yes.
Continuing on with the trend of super useful and super awesome dinos, we've got coelacanth, the little trout-looking fish that are just swimming around.
Yeah, those honestly.
Those, unpopular opinion here. Unpopular opinion, they're pretty useless, yes, but I'm going to stick them in the C tier in my opinion just because they are such a readily available basic source of food that you can honestly get away with eating raw, and the effects of the food poisoning from that are significantly less of a drawback than it would be from eating raw meat. So in my opinion, in a pinch, it's pretty useful to have, and it's pretty easy to gather, so I'd put it at a C tier just for our beach bobs out there that rely on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't got really no use for that thing at all, other than it's there. Some people can go fishing for it, and that's, how you can get stuff, because some unofficial servers have boosted fishing that you can get cool blueprints from and stuff like that. So, I mean, I would be down for a C or a D. I'll go the C with you.
Yeah, I'll meet you in the middle. We'll go D. How about that?
That sounds amazing.
All right. All right. Moving up with the Diplocalus, whatever. However, that's a fun one too. Dinosaurs are fun. So that's the one that it's got the flathead iguana, a hammerhead iguana is what I'm gonna call it. Yeah, we're gonna call it the hammerhead iguana. So usually you find that in the swamp, right?
Yeah, that's the only location I think you can find it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to think of anywhere else that I'd seen it, but I couldn't. So usually you find it in the swamp. What does it do?
From what I understand, don't quote me. Nobody quote me on this. I think you can ride it, and it is the fastest creature underwater out of any creature.
Okay, so I mean that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I think that's its only use though, to be honest.
It says it says here that if you go underwater with it, you can ride on it, and it gives you almost infinite oxygen as you can dismount it and have it burp into your mouth for more oxygen.
What?
Yeah, I'm reading that direct from Dododex here. It can get black pearls from trilobites.
What?
And it will burp in your mouth underwater and give you more oxygen.
Okay.
And it's also super fast underwater. Okay, hang on. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, well, I mean, that changes things. That definitely boosted it up to a B tier, in my opinion. Anything that helps me stay alive underwater in GTFO, then I am here for it.
Yeah, I really haven't tamed the dino enough and seen what it can do other than hearing from that, so I would go a C tier.
I'll agree with that. That's fair.
Right in the middle.
All right, so Diplocalus, right in the middle, our 2.0 C student here. You won't make the honor roll, but Grandma's still proud.
Right.
Up next, we got the Dunkleosteus. I have raved about this bad boy in the past, and I will do it again from the mountaintops. That sucker can collect, like, stone and oil and, like, a whole bunch of other crap. It's got crazy weight on it, and if I remember correctly, it has some weight reductions.
Yeah, it does have weight reductions. I don't necessarily remember what they are, but yeah, I mean, it gets stone, oil, metal, all underwater. Like this thing is an absolute must-have. I
Obsidian.
personally will be giving this an S tier.
Yeah, it's definitely a aquatic Anki almost, so I would have to go ahead and give it an S tier as well.
Second S tier of the night so far.
Oh, yeah. Up next, we're jumping to the Electrophorus.
No.
I'm going to call it that because that's more fun to say. The
No,
Electrophorus.
not even talking about it, Matt. I'm not talking about it.
The sole reason that... because it made me scream like a little girl the other week, I'm going to give it an F tier.
F tier. No else, nothing said. Annoying. Hate this stupid thing.
Dude, it's so annoying, man. There's... Like, in PvP, do people use them? Like, are they good for being little underwater tasers? Is that, like, even a real thing?
No, because a lot of people go with like bassies or stuff or can kill it quicker. Normally people don't use them at all.
So, like, what the heck? They're literally just there to be an inconvenience to people that are not on a bassin.
Correct.
Boo! F tier indeed. Kick rocks, go fly a kite.
Yeah.
Up next, we got the Eurypterid. The little, like, underwater shrimp scorpion thingies. Those things are, like, a decent source of black pearls, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're like a black pearl source. But other than that, I mean, they got to stay in the game, so I can't like give them an F tier because really all they do is give black pearls. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're like slightly more aggressive trilobites.
Literally.
I would give them a D tier because they're not like the primary source of black pearls, but they're still like, you know, an option. They're just far and few between.
Yeah, definitely a D tier because you don't want to kick it out of the game, but you got to keep it in.
Yeah. Do you remember in Survival Evolved, and for those of us listening that play Survival Evolved instead of Survival Ascended, Eurypterids are a totally different beast in that game. Like, in Survival Ascended, they're literally like, oh yeah, we're gonna go eat cotton candy and swim around at the bottom of the ocean. And in Survival Evolved, they literally would hunt you down and impale you and ruin your entire life, and they would come in swarms and knock you unconscious immediately, and they were just the absolute worst and so scary.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like they were a lot more aggressive, or at least had a lot larger range.
And they were larger. Like, they used to be big like a Pulmonoscorpius, and now they're like small.
I did not notice that. Yeah.
Yeah. Next time, like, yeah, they're huge in Survival Evolved. Unless I was just so scared that I'm remembering it incorrectly, but I remember them being much larger in Survival Evolved. Because, like, the first time that I ever saw them, I didn't know they were a thing until I think Ragnarok was either the first time they were released or the first time that I saw them. Either way, and I was exploring the like shipwreck in the middle of that little bay there, and I got off of I'm pretty confident that I like noticed it from afar and got off of like my Anki and was just leaving it floating in the middle of the water, and I like was swimming around checking stuff out, and all of a sudden those little scorpions come out, and I darn near pooed myself, left a little brown cloud behind me in the water as I was swimming away, and they massacred me. It was awful.
Nice.
Yeah. Not the adjective I would use, but it definitely is one option. But moving on next to the Hesperornis, the little pelican-looking thingies. Well, I guess not too pelican-y, because that's the Pelagornis, but you know, the little... I'm pretty sure those are the swan boat ones, aren't they?
These ones...
Or are those are the ones that lay golden eggs?
Yes, I was just going to say they're the ones that lay the golden eggs.
Yeah, what's the purpose of the golden egg? Can you enlighten me? Because I remember we had one, but I don't remember why.
Yeah, that's my exact thing. I don't even think they're that useful at all. I think the golden eggs are just like a fun little... Like, they do something, but I don't think they do enough to even be cool.
Yeah, aren't they used for like a certain type of kibble or something like that? I don't remember. Yeah, so I got a, unfortunately, like, possibly unpopular opinion. I'm going to go ahead and give that an F tier, because I don't think that is useful, but if I'm wrong for any of this stuff, if we're like super off and super wrong about anything, please by all means correct us, because I would love to be enlightened about like a use you guys have for something that we don't know about. That'd be awesome. So like, don't be afraid to comment on this episode and be like, oh hey, by the way, That's not an F tier. That's an A tier, and this is why. I would love to be, educated on stuff.
Yeah. So the reason for the egg or the usage is little creatures love the golden egg. When fed to a small non-rideable tame, the egg gives them a temporary 500% increased experience buff. Humans and bigger creatures can eat it as well for a 10% buff. The
Okay,
buff
so
lasts
that's
for
pretty
10
legit.
minutes. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I mean, a 10%, but the 500% on the small creatures are nice, but overall, I'm probably still going F tier.
Unfortunately, it's cool, but sometimes your best isn't good enough. Ichthyosaurus. I always want to call it the Ichthyornis for some reason, but the Ichthyosaurus. That's the dolphin in layman's terms. So, I'm a huge fan of the dolphin, man. That thing's a torpedo in the water. It doesn't do too much damage, but it is, the primary stealth unit, if you will, for the water. It's great for in and out for some of the underwater caves if you're a good enough pilot. We learned the hard way that I am not. But if you're a good enough underwater pilot, you can definitely use it to do a snatch and grab on artifacts. It's fast enough to outrun almost anything in the water. And, I am a huge fan of it personally. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I do like the dolphin because on my unofficial servers that I play on, I use the dolphin to get everywhere and anywhere. If I want my pearls on unofficial servers, I go with the dolphin, and it's just like you said, it's fast to get away from pretty much almost any dino. So I really like the dolphin, Ichthyornis, whatever it's called. You know what I mean? I like the dolphin.
I think we could safely set it up at the A tier personally.
Yeah, it's not an S tier.
Yeah,
it's definitely an A tier.
All right, up next, gonna go polar opposite direction here, and we have the leech.
Nah, man, leech F
See,
tier.
they need to make a change to the leech because right now, as it is definitely an F tier creature. It's not anything that's useful. The leech blood is like, yes, you need the leech blood for med brews and stuff like that, I think, if I remember correctly. Isn't that what it's used for? Or is that for like antidotes or something like that?
Yeah, it's antidotes to cure
so
from
you need
the
leech blood
leech.
to cure disease given by leeches? Not even like the bat disease? It doesn't even cure mega rabies?
No. Don't quote me.
Is it used to make lesser antidote? Yeah, then
I think
you
it
need
is,
it to cure mega rabies. So I will give it that like, that's a little in your pocket use that is super useful. So it's necessary for caving to, go harvest it, but it's just another step in the game's grindy process. So I would give it a C tier personally, just because the grind is part of the, the dream and the struggle of this game. But I don't think that it doesn't add enough of a challenge that I'm sitting here like, oh god, it's such a big worry.
Yeah, I think that
it's just more of a nuisance.
The leech is just kind of more of a nuisance. I think that kind of annoying. Other than it gives you a lot of chitin, which is cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pointless.
The chitin and the antidote are like the only reasons that I would give it a C tier, but it's really not fun, that's for sure. Do you stick firm with your F tier? We're gonna meet in the middle on a D tier?
No, I said it was a C
my
tier.
bad. I'm over here, Mr. Crazy Pants. I thought you said it was an F tier.
No, I'm just kidding. I did say it was an F tier.
So,
haha, got you, Matt. We can go D.
Up next, we got the lead Sichthius. Good D? Okay. So, up next, we got the lead Sichthius, which is the Raft Crusher.
That's that dino overall. I mean, it's huge. It destroys your rafts. You can't tame it. You can go pet the alpha ones and get some raw prime fish meat. But other than that, I mean, they just sit there and kind of do
until
absolutely
you're minding
nothing.
Your own business, trying to explore and be a friggin' Viking or something like that, and all of a sudden it comes up and just like picks you up like a rubber ducky out of the water and ruins your whole boat. Not that that's ever happened to me before. Man, those things are a nightmare for early game people that are trying to travel by raft, and people that are just doing some fishing, minding their own business and stuff like that. But aside from that, it's no big deal. I think that it adds an exciting element and twist to it because the ocean's scary and that big boy real scary. So I think it's awesome the fact that you can just be chilling here and all of a sudden Moby Dick's gonna come up and destroy your entire boat, and next thing you know you're paddling through the water fighting for your life. I mean, I think that's exciting. So I would give it a B tier just for sheer excitement.
I'm good with a B, or like a B minus there. And I know we just kind of said C, but
Oh
I'll
yeah,
go B.
yeah,
Let's go
B
B.
minus. I like B minus. That's the yeah. We're gonna be oddly specific about just this one so far. I like B minus. All right. Speaking of B minuses, no, I'm just kidding. So up next we got the Leopleurodon, which I didn't even know existed until Aaron Aztec told us when he was on, actually. So thanks for teaching me that one, Aaron. And I've never actually tamed it, but it's like an ocean unicorn that when you tame one of them, and there's only one in the map, it gives you a whole bunch of like extra rare stuff, I guess, was how Aaron had described it. Yeah. Have you ever tamed one before,
Yeah.
Jericho?
I've never tamed one because I honestly seen it for the first time ever, that episode that we did with Aaron, and I didn't even know what it did. I've seen it quite a lot actually in the ocean, but
Yeah,
I've
I
never
mean,
tamed one
I
yet.
had seen it a couple times, but when you see it from a distance, you're like, wow, what is that? So like my first thought is not, hey, I'm gonna go touch it. So we don't have a whole lot of experience as far as like, receiving its loot and like, having these memorable moments that would make us want to stick it in a high tier probably, but I think the rarity of it, the fact that there's only one in the map, makes it like a novelty. So if nothing else, every time you see one, just like a unicorn, even if you don't want to tame it, you're like, ooh, unicorn. And every single person who plays Ark that finds a unicorn is always like, oh, I should really tame this because they're pretty rare, but and then no one ever does. So like, it's one of those things that you see it, you probably should, but then you just don't. So I think it's pretty awesome. The concept of it is really cool. So devs, high five to you guys for that. But I would probably give it a C tier, B tier, B minus.
Yeah,
What's your
I'll
reasoning
give it a
behind the
C
grade?
tier. It's like you said, it's just one of those creatures that you're just like, oh, I really should tame this, but I'm not going to, just like a unicorn because they're rare. But other than that, it's just a cool feature, and I'm probably
That's
just
fair.
never going
I
to tame
mean,
one.
ocean's scary, so I don't blame you. Water bad. All right, up next, man, this is either a love or hate thing. There's really nobody who's in the middle, I feel like, on this one. Manta.
F
I was
tier.
gonna say B tier. What's your reasoning for F?
Man, they're quick, but they do absolutely nothing else, in my opinion, other than annoy me when I try to tame a basil or basilo, and they just come up decide to attack me, but they're 10 times faster than me and just annoy
you
me.
know, I I don't even remember what my argument was because now after you mentioned that, all I can think of is that they're basically just ocean wolves. They're fast. They're gonna swarm you. A swarm of them will pin you down and ruin your entire day, just like a wolf will on your RG. So maybe that's why I have a soft spot for them.
Yeah, I'll give it a D tier for you, but that's really I think the
Okay,
highest I can
I'll
go.
agree to a D tier to at least keep it in the game. All right, so we're sticking
Yeah.
Manta in the D tier. My little ocean wolf. Actually, no, the dolphin is an ocean wolf, so I take my previous statement back. Um, However, speaking of wolves and sharp teeth, we have the megalodon. Sharks. Ugh. Yeah, megalodon.
Megalodon, you
And then
said?
had a little moment here about sharks. I'm not like I have such a like fear and a respect at the same time for sharks. They're just one of those creatures that like no thank you. Anything about them. They're one of the spookiest things that we have in the ocean that we know about today, and I'm just really not trying to mess with that. So I'm not about that life. So in real life, F tier if it's anywhere near me, but S tier for the ecosystem, I guess. As far as an arc goes, the megalodon is like it's like your gateway ocean creature, you know what I mean? It's a step up from the dolphin as far as combat goes, but a step down as far two steps down as far as maneuverability and speed goes. So like it's one of those things that can be super useful for certain purposes, but it is definitely not an all-around aquatic dino.
Yeah, I really like it for its accessibility. You can upgrade its health, you can upgrade its melee quite a bit. It's an actual like it's kind of near that mid game tame, like you said. It's an upgrade, and that's how you work your way, next to the big squid and whatever and stuff like that. So, I mean, overall, the creature's not bad. It's definitely annoying when you're just swimming there, and there's 20 of them because they always, I swear, swim right next to each other. So
Ooh,
I'm gonna go
C
with the
tier.
C tier.
Um, I would I would argue for a B tier because of the fact that it is it's the stepping stone to the squid. It's the stepping stone to like the Dunkley Osteus. It's your middle ground here before you can get the Mosa. So I think that it's the best that you're going to get for a long time in the water. Like if you're just starting out, it's probably a good megalodon is going to be something that will hold you over until pretty mid to late game. So it's not going to do everything. It's not going to open every door for you, but I really think that, B tier would be fair just because of the accessibility options, I guess. I don't know. But C tier is not bad, so I can meet on that.
I'm good with B. You've definitely convinced me. Let's go B.
Let's go. All right, so B tier for the Meg, and then speaking of monsters, we have the Mosa. So Mosa is a big mamma jamma. If you've never seen one in Ark, it is the creature in Jurassic Evolution, Jurassic World that jumps up and eats the shark that's hanging up in the tank. You know what I mean? So that's what we're talking about. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's pretty darn close to an ocean giga.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, those things are absolutely huge. You see them swim in the water. Honestly, for the first little bit, you are a little scared because you think it might instantly one bite you, but it doesn't. Um, they're pretty tanky creatures, man. I mean, they're fun to kind of ride around on. I wouldn't say I normally tame them at all because I'd rather have just a squid. But so
I
I don't
think
know,
that it's
man. What
not
do you think?
nearly as good as a squid, but it's significantly better than a megalodon. So it definitely bridges the gap between a meg and a squid. It is significantly more easy to tame than a squid, though, and we'll get to that when we talk about the squid. But those things suck to tame. They are extra sketchy and extra spooky to make your friend, whereas a Mosa is, you know, arguably not that bad. I'm pretty sure that's a knockout tame, right?
Yeah, the Moza is a knockout team.
Yeah, so that's pretty easy peasy. That's your standard procedure there. So, with a good anglerfish or a good dolphin or something that's going to definitely outrun it, then that's easy peasy to do. So, ease of access, power chomps, and the stepping stone between a shark and a squid, I would give it the A tier.
Yeah, I'm down to go A tier. I think a
Oh,
lot of
yeah,
people would actually agree
baby.
with that.
All right. Jericho, got to put on your boxing gloves for this one, okay? Because
Okay.
this is a hill that I'm going to die on, and this episode will be about 7 hours as I argue my case here like a professional lawyer. The
Okay.
otter.
Man, what's your
No
rating
need
on
to
that? That's
discuss
all I
it.
need to
Easy
know.
S tier.
I'm not gonna sit here just for everyone to not have to listen to 7 hours. In your tier list here, you can put it in S. I'm going
A
to put it in like a
B?
B.
How could you put it down at a B? Okay, so first off, we're gonna start off at a C because that's like the basis. That's your average anything. So it's an above average good boy and or girl. So that right there bumps it up to a B tier. It's cute AF and sits on your shoulder and can wear a helmet. That bumps it up to the A tier. And then the fact that when you boost its melee damage, it scales. Like, go back and listen to the caving episode and the episode where we talked about the dino dossier for it. We like dove in deep about the mathematics of the otter, and you can go through to a handful of these caves pretty much butt naked if you have a good otter on your back. So, in my opinion, for cuteness, companionship, functionality, and caving, that's an S tier.
Like I said, I'm going to go B tier. and you can go S tier. Everyone can let
And
us know
everybody
what
can
their
let
opinion
Jericho know
is.
that that's B tier for a bad opinion. Okay, so we're gonna agree to disagree on that one. We'll save everybody the time because I'll die on that hill, darn it. So everybody, yeah, that's gonna be the question of the week: is what tier do you put the otter in? All right. Up next, we have the piranha.
The piranha,
What do you
man.
think of the piranha, Jericho?
The
They live in the
piranha.
Amazon.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, piranhas, man. I don't understand. I mean, I feel like they have to be in the game, so I'll give them that. Can't be an F tier because I feel like they have to be in the game. Like piranha's just like a staple type of thing. Other than that, very useless travel in packs. Used to be really aggressive on Survival Evolved, and they still are aggressive. You just don't see them as much. Like I've really barely seen any piranhas in Survival Ascended.
Now, this
So
could
I don't
just
know.
be me being paranoid because, ocean's scary, but I seem to have noticed piranhas are a lot more common in areas that have green or brown water.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm also colorblind, so take that completely with a grain of salt. So, like, in on the island, that main river coming out from Smuggler's Pass, when you go south, it like the river bifurcates, breaks off into two forks there, and when it does, the left fork when you're going south in it. So I'm too tired to think directions right now, but if you're going south, when you cut left, it will take you towards the swamp, and right where the water starts to get like brownish, blackish, and like a little bit darker is where you start to see the piranhas. So keep an eye out that the darker the water, the more likely there will be piranhas. Yeah, but Jericho, it sounded to me like you described pretty accurately how I feel about piranhas as well. With them being a standard staple, they add just a degree of challenge to the game, but they're not too difficult. They're travel in packs enough to make you worry and will scramble some of your herbivores and stuff out of the water. So like I would give it a C tier probably.
Yeah, it'd either be
Yeah,
a
that's
C or a
fair.
D for me.
Either one would work. So somewhere in the middle, to each their own, I guess. Um, all right, we're getting close to the end here. We've only got 5 left. So out of the 5, 3 of them are big. 2 of them are, kind of rinky dinky ones that we'll probably go through pretty quickly here. But this next one here, I don't know much about it, and I'm embarrassed to admit that because I feel like I should. But the plesiosaur, can you like educate me about the plesiosaur?
So, from what I understand, Plesiosaur is like top three fastest dino or underwater dino. I mean, it kind of looks weird. Like some people kind of use it as a meme. Like its head is just kind of weird. It has this really long neck. Um, and it's, I mean, honestly, it's just very fast. You can put a platform on it, stuff like that. But other than it being very fast, the mosasaur is just so good. And shark, there's so many better dinos that it's not very, I would
Yeah,
say, very
yeah.
useful.
I'm sure it has its like niche uses and stuff like that, but generally speaking, it's definitely not the first 5 to even 10 dinos in the water that I would go for, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, honestly, the ratings got to be pretty low here. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
C or a D.
I'd probably have to go C just because, it's better than some of the other ones that we've put down in the D tier. It's more functional, it's more combat oriented. It's just there are better options out there.
Yeah.
All right, up next, this is one of the easy ones here. Saber-toothed salmon, man. It has no real purpose. It's really not aggressive unless you mess with it, and then even still, it's got such a low HP pool that you're going to take it out really quickly, even with like a basic metal pike. Um, it's good for fishing. You can, get some stuff from it as far as blueprints and stuff go on certain servers, I guess, but it's better than it's better than the coelacanth, but it's really not, my first thought for like, oh man, I need some food. Let's go get a saber-toothed salmon.
Yeah, I'm going F tier, man. Not useful.
Yeah. No, I think they're really cool looking and they make for a lot of really cool photo opportunities. I've actually taken probably more photos of saber-toothed salmon than anything else in the game just because they like glitch out of the water and get stuck in the sky and all these weird poses and stuff. And there have been some like really really big ones. There was one in the unofficial server. I don't understand how the scaling works and how the sizes work for fish because like you know how like they'll spawn in with a multiplier on them and the multiplier correlates to their size and how much like meat they have on them. Have you figured that out yet, Jericho? Oh, okay, folks. Well, I lost Jericho, so I'm just going to continue rambling until I reconnect to him because, you know, my recording still works even if my Discord doesn't because internet. So, folks at home, the multiplier next to the fish correlates to how big those fish are, and then it also correlates to how much meat they're going to get. So, like a 2.4 multiplier fish is going to give you significantly more meat than you would get from a 1.1, and it's also going to be much larger. And we saw one saber-tooth salmon. I don't remember what the multiplier was, like 2 point something, 2.6 maybe. I don't remember. 1.8, who knows? I'm probably making. So there was a saber-tooth salmon in the unofficial server right next to our base when I was out trying to tame a otter, and that son of a gun was bigger than my wolf. So pretty impressive on those multipliers. Keep an eye out on that. It's an interesting correlation I noticed. Okay,
You hear
folks.
me?
Hey, now I can hear you. Well, I
Hey,
just
there
told
we
a really
go.
fun story that you'll get to hear when you edit. Well,
Awesome.
it's good to have you back, bud. Welcome. We agree saber-tooth salmon F tier, but multiplier fun.
Yes.
So keep that in mind, folks. Sarco is up next. What do you think
Um,
about the Sarco?
hmm. Darko man. I'd say some people use it. I don't tame those things. I don't think they're necessarily useful. Never really taken it as an like I know it does stuff underwater. I mean, I see it swim underwater like an alligator. But other than that, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna have
I'm
to
gonna say a
agree with you
C
with
tier.
that. They're just big jumbo alligators, and they're pretty cool. They have a really nice death roll, which is like good for dismounting people and stuff like that. But I mean, aside from that, there's nothing too crazy about them. So I will agree with that. Um, and actually, I noticed it's not on this list. But speaking of Sarco, what about the Caprosuchus? They never mention that as an aquatic creature, which I find interesting. I mean, sure, it's amphibious, I guess, on land and water, but still, like, I'm surprised that's not on this list.
Yeah, honestly, I am surprised a little bit too. I mean, like I guess I never do see it really under the water a bunch, but I mean, it still does do
I
stuff
would say it's
under the water.
almost as much. Oh no, because a baryonyx like needs fish when it's a baby, so I guess that's different. I was gonna say it's about as aquatic as a baryonyx, more aquatic than a Andrewsarchus, that's for sure.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Just like they
Oh
didn't
yeah,
mention
what
the
the
bees of
heck?
buffalo.
We can talk about that because that's important. I got to give that one an A tier, man. That's a solid choice. Just because like it's fast, you can hippity hoppity off of somebody's property really quickly, and not only that, but the fact that it can turn bugs directly into cementing paste. Take that bad boy in the swamp cave in Picasso.
Yeah, that's definitely an A tier. There's
Yeah,
no ifs, ands, or
definitely a
buts about
solid
it.
choice. Really can't go wrong with it. Um, All right, back to the list. We got two more on this list. Number one, Trilobite. In honor of Nettie the Noodle. You know, I feel like we got to keep it in the game. It gives you black pearls, and Nettie really loves it, and he's the lore master. So like, we have to respect that, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's a D tier, maybe even a
Yeah,
C
yeah.
just because
D tier
Nettie.
because of the black pearls, and C tier because of Nettie. Yeah, but
Yep.
unfortunately, not much to be said there. They look really cool. They can be found on the beaches. They look like horseshoe crabs. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the name, and killing them will yield pearls and black pearls. That is where we found out you can use the wolf for, because believe it or not, the dire wolf is like a 4-star collector of pearls, and my little happy self rode one off into the tundra one day thinking that I could go harvest the pearls that are over on the ice, and false, but you can get them from trilobites. And last but most certainly not least, we have to pay some ode here to what I assume will be the final S tier of the night, the ocean god, the Tusiteuthis, also known as the squid.
Yeah, definitely an S tier creature, Matt. I think you're right. I think it will be the last one of the night here, especially because it's the last dino. I mean, it's got insane health. It can grab creatures. It can heal from like killing creatures. And I mean, it is annoying to tame, little slow, kind of annoying to maneuver at times. But other than that, this creature is
Yeah,
definitely
the
an
thing
S tier.
turns like a Mack truck, and you need about, you know, 75 square feet to turn that bad boy around and about 60 square feet to parallel park it. But, like, aside from that, yeah, hi, Huey. Good to see you too, buddy. Aside from that, it's like really solid. Extreme damage. Like you said, you can do all sorts of nifty things with it. The fact that you can just grab things in your tentacles and carry it around like a child carrying a toy, like, that's pretty nifty, but wild, they scare the crap out of me. Absolutely
Yeah, me
scare the
too.
crap out of me. If you guys have never tamed one before, you literally have to like swim up on your shark or something like that and sacrifice the dino to it, and it will come up and like grapple it with its arm, and you can dismount off of it, and you have to swim up to its beak and hand feed the freaking squid black pearls like some kind of psychopath. Who does that? My cat is
Yeah, that
currently
is crazy.
attacking all of the papers in my booth. Well,
Nice.
yeah, S tier, no arguments about it. Squid's the ocean god. All hail the squid. And, you know, that concludes our ocean tier list. So, man, that was more exhausting than I expected it to be.
Yeah, honestly, it was a little bit for me here too. But I think overall, at the same time, it was fun. It was
Yeah,
just a
it
lot of
was. It
creatures.
was definitely fun. It was just a lot, like you said, a lot of creatures. So maybe next time I'll have to break it up into more of a subcategory because it's a long list. But it was definitely fun. I think that we should probably do more tier lists because, we had talked about it before of doing like flying dinos and ocean dinos, maybe work dinos. Like, there are so many different things that we can throw into tier lists that are kind of interesting, compare and contrast. So, lots of those coming up in the future. We'll try to space them out though, so we're not doing too many of them too close.
Yeah, I
For
think that would be our best
sure.
bet.
All right, Jericho. Enlighten me, my good sir. Who is the content spotlight of the week? Creator spotlight.
So the creator of the week this week is going to be none other than the man who always posts in our Discord, Maximus Plays. So as of recently, one of the reasons I want to give him a big shout out here is he's been posting a lot of videos, of course, always posting on our Discord page, just saying, if you want to go check him out, go check him out. But he just recently became a YouTube partner. And one of the cool things with that, right? So like he can start getting paid now. Um, one of the cool things with that though is that he, like, in his tweet about him being able to get this program, he did shout out Monarchy, right? Which we all know Monarchy, of course, especially on the podcast here, we all know Monarchy. He also gave us a shout out in that tweet, like just saying a special shout out to Monarchy and Stranded Survivors. So
Man, that's
awesome,
awesome.
man.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, man.
Maximus. That was so thoughtful of you to include us like that, man. We really appreciate you, and congratulations on all the awesome things that you're doing with your streaming career, man. I'm excited to see that moving forward for you.
Yeah, man. Just keep up the great videos as always, Maximus. I try to watch as many as I can on my free time. So thank you.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I don't watch too many uh Ark content creators anymore, but he does put out good stuff. Man, well, that's awesome. Good for him. That makes me super happy to hear. It's good to hear people in our community succeeding and following their dreams and stuff like that. So, shout out to him and shout out to everybody else chasing your dreams. Who's that Dynamon? Wait, did people respond? Did they tell us that they hate that?
Well, are we like what are we gonna do? Are we supposed to get into that now early on in the episode? We're
Okay,
not
okay,
fully
we're
done
not there
yet.
yet. You're right. So we're gonna pretend like, actually, I don't have to pretend because I'm not responsible and I didn't read the questions yet. So I don't know what the response is, but I guess you'll have to pretend like you don't. Okay, continue. Sorry. Who's that Dynamon?
So what do you guys think the Dinomon is? Let us know. It's going to be in the questions, as always. So make sure you guys go vote on that and let us know what
Boom.
Dinomon you
Easy as
think it is.
pie is how it works. So that's going to be a fun one. I want us to, everybody head down to the poll, like Jericho said, drop a vote. Helps us out here with the algorithm as we get more and more community interaction with the questions and the polls. So make sure you do that. Make sure you, follow so that way you can get up to date every time we post a new episode and all that fun stuff. Rate us 5 stars. Help us out here, rise to the top of the charts, because we are still trying to make it onto the community crunch here. That's still one of our goals for the year. So help us out. More popular that we get on Spotify and other platforms and stuff like that. Hopefully will help us, make our appearance and debut.
Yeah, definitely make sure you guys are sharing different things like that. And a little quick side note that I want to throw in here: make sure to go join the Discord. And also, X or Twitter, is now requiring, I think it said, new users to be able to pay a small fee to get rid of bots. But coming along with this, be able to like or retweet someone, from what I understand, you have to pay on X. So, and the only thing you can do on the free version of X from now on is follow someone. So, if you don't plan on paying for X, make sure you guys come follow us there, because who wants to pay anyways? Who wants to
Wow.
pay for that?
I love and adore Elon Musk, but we could do an entire episode on that business decision right there. But hey, this is not an economics or business or law podcast, but that's an interesting choice there. So yeah. Anyway, like he said, go ahead and follow. Wow, I'm baffled by that. All right. So up next, we've got the official server update, or unofficial server update, I should say, because we haven't played official in forever. But not honestly much has happened with the unofficial server here in my neck of the woods. So I unfortunately don't have anything really fun to relay. I've been doing all this real life stuff that is boring and nobody cares about, but I just unfortunately haven't had much time to play Xbox.
Yeah, I really haven't played a bunch in general either. Been busy, like Matt said, kind of some real life stuff. But other than that, Big Chicken's been doing an amazing job here on the server as of recently, doing a lot of updates for you guys. We've been trying to warn you guys about those updates and different things like that. And Ark had an update, of course, screwed things up for unofficial servers. Big Chicken spent a lot of his time fixing that and figuring it out. So just a
Yeah,
big shout out to
absolutely.
him.
He's doing an amazing job. He really stepped in as a sort of a surprise admin role that I just randomly messaged him out of the blue one day and was like, "Hey, you trying to be an admin?" And he has hit the ground running with that role. And president and CEO over here. He's the man, the myth, the legend. So the server would not be running smoothly without him and all of the hours of effort he has put into it. So those of you that are on the server and enjoying it, make sure you reach out to him in the general chat, at him, give him a big ol' thank you. And, I appreciate you too, bud. I'd like to get back into. I was just telling Jericho earlier that, I'm in this like awkward little lull of there's not much on the island for me anymore. So I'm like in this awkward limbo waiting for us to figure out what direction we want to go as far as Scorched Earth goes. And as soon as that becomes available, I plan to hit the ground running again with Ark. So I'm just sort of biding my time and waiting for the new server to be figured out, I guess. Which I don't. Do we have an update on that? Because I feel like we've talked about it, but we haven't. So like, I guess we're gonna do it live here on the podcast. Do we have a plan for that?
So, we did mention in one of the videos last week that we would have the server out within a week, and the stranded survivors have decided to be like wild card and make that a delay until further notice. But in reality, we do
Tenfold rip
have
shots
people
fired.
who are willing to. We do, we do have people willing to do it for us, or willing to help us with the server. So, it doesn't necessarily have to come out of our pockets. But that's still an ongoing conversation right now. But that should be live very soon, is what I will say. I'm
Boom.
pulling
I
a wild
love it
card.
because, you know, it fits the theme. So I'm here for it. I'm hoping that we can get that going soon because I too am waiting on Scorched Earth. So once, I have not been very active as far as admin discussions go. So publicly apologize for that I have been relatively useless. But I mean, it hopefully is coming along because I see a lot of people, like every time I open up the chat, I see people working really hard on it. So it's all coming together soon and everything's going to be all right. Man, question of the week. All right, so I'm awkwardly rambling here because I keep thinking about the question of the week. So, riddle me this. What's going on? The question of the week. The suspense is killing me.
Okay, so you remember we had two episodes though, right? Okay.
We got to double up on the questions then. It's going to be a thick one.
Yeah, so what we got is for season 2, episode 14. Nope. Episode 13, right? Nope. Man, I'm struggling. Episode 14. Okay. We're good here. Episode 14. What we have here is pulling it up right now. Is the question was, what segments do you want add or removed? Will the Thrill has said, first off, glad y'all are back. One segment you guys could add would be a mod spotlight, whether it be a mod on your servers or one you're interested in using.
Good idea.
And Dad of Twins said, I'm not sure how it would work necessarily, but I wouldn't mind like a tip of the week.
That's a good idea too. It'd be an easy little fun fact of the week segment. That'd be easy peasy.
Yeah. And then Hop said, I gave a ton of answers on this already, LOL, but you all keep rolling.
Yes, he did.
He has given way more than a ton, so thank you, Hop. As always, we appreciate you.
Yeah, he's always got great feedback, so I always love to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all. And then one is, the next one up is Gabriel. One that, one I think that that is interesting is the scientific side of Ark in the real world. For example, does obsidian really exist, and what's its usage for it? It's an idea for the podcast.
Dude, I could do an entire episode on that type of stuff. Having a teaching background, would love to do an episode like that. And whatever happened to, actually, now that we're talking about it, whatever happened to that one? There was a show that asked us to come on and do that, like do an entire thing about that. Whatever happened with that? Because I was really excited about that.
Yes.
No. Well, we got to reach out to them because that sounded like a really cool opportunity and I'm still interested in that. So I don't know if they still listen, but I want to come back on your show. I still want to do it. Please reach out to us.
So then, as always, that was a really good suggestion, actually. And I think the first thing I thought when I read that was Matt would love to do this.
Oh my God, absolutely.
So, the next one is everyone's favorite, right? At this point, gotta be
Notorious. Like Conor McGregor.
Yes. Hail Hydra, right? Okay. And then his answer was any bloopers like Matt freaking out with the ocean, LOL. Edit. Sorry I didn't hit the send button until today. So sorry. Love you guys and you're doing great.
Love you. Yeah, man, that was not my proudest moment, but yep, I don't do deep water. I don't do ocean, and like, I always have my guard up, and my camera is constantly like spinning in circles, and I'm very good about paying attention in the water, and that was the one time that I didn't. So you can rest assured that probably won't happen again for a few more months now that I can't let my guard down again.
So that's final answers here for episode 14. So we go on to episode 15. And the question was, what did you think about this episode? But first off, thank you to everyone that did answer those questions.
It. What a dingus.
That is correct. You did never change it. But shout out to all the people that entered on season 2, episode 14.
For
We
sure.
appreciate
Nobody
you.
answered that 15 then?
No, they did. But so we posted 2 episodes
Oh, they did.
last
Okay,
week.
good.
So the
Yeah.
answers, everyone, this was posted just a couple days ago actually. And the answer to this was Hop said, really enjoyed the episode. What's up with the clicking? I don't know if it's the Xbox controller one of you guys played on while you record, but once while it's while you record, but once while it's distracted. But I love you guys. Great job. Um, and yes, that's me. My editing is not great yet, so I apologize.
He says it's him. He takes the blame because of his editing skills. That is so kind of you, Jericho, and that's how I know you're a real friend. No, that is definitely my fault. So I was playing while recording. I can't remember if I was playing Ark or 7 Days to Die. I feel like during that episode I was probably playing 7 Days to Die. I like I'm a quirky little fella. I'm a goofy guy, and I've got a lot of strange personality traits. And one of them is that when I play video games, the more like invested in the moment I get, the closer the controller comes to my face. So that's definitely my bad, and I apologize because in those moments, that's when things are getting intense, and all of a sudden the controller's like right in front of my chin, which is also right in front of my mic. So my bad on that. That probably was super distracting.
And then next off is always Will the Thrill. First off, thank you guys for keeping up the podcast with all the real life stuff going on. Perfect length for the episode, and it didn't seem drug out at all. Time actually really flew
That's
by while
perfect, man.
listening.
That's what we like to hear. So that means we're doing something right. I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Will. Continue answering. You Hop, Hail Hydra, Gabriel, man. Top 4. Nobody is going to take
Yeah,
that
they
throne
got
at this moment.
definitely top 4 fans for sure. Our 4 favorite fans will go boldly enough to say, unless anybody can be so awesome to challenge them for that title.
And then last but not least, Hail Hydra, but with something a little different here, Matt.
Okay. Ooh, Chantar.
This is his answer. Hail Stranded Survivors. You guys are doing great with the podcast. Also, Gabriel, you were here since episode 5. I've been here since 2 days after episode 1. Biggest fan. Keep it up, guys. Oh.
Oh, snap. We got a battle on our hands, folks. Man, that's a ooh, okay. Gabriel, you have a week to respond.
So, Matt, other than that, you know, we're done with all the questions. So I just, again, thank you to everyone that did answer that. We appreciate you, but we also appreciate the
Yeah.
Patreons, Matt.
Patrons, thank you so much. Definitely we have our so it's the $20 and $10 tier, Helena's Angels, and our $10 tier is, which one is that called? Goodness gracious. We don't have anybody in that tier, so I guess the name's kind of irrelevant at this point. But those are the 2 tiers that we are shouting out in the episodes. So a big shout out, as always, to Gabriel and Hop on Ark. Thank you both very, very much for being Helena's Angels, and we appreciate you guys. We say it every week that we cannot thank you enough for the support that you guys give us. And again, we want to say thank you so much. You guys, the fans are the reason that we do this. So I really appreciate you guys that are helping to support us so that way we can start investing in some stuff. Like I told Hop, I think that, with Jericho taking over the editing process, I feel like one of the first things we should invest in is maybe some editing software for us. Yeah, I think that maybe we'll do some homework on different editing softwares. Because what do you use to edit actually?
Right now,
To
I
edit the
just use
podcast?
CapCut. Yeah, I can edit the whole podcast in CapCut. I can add effects. I can
Man,
do
that's
whatever I want.
awesome. I guess I did know that CapCut's that awesome, but I'm not too familiar with it. So all the shortcuts that I gave you when we were texting back and forth the other day, ignore all of those because those are all for Audacity. Never mind. This is all stuff we can talk about later. Never mind. Yeah, the people don't care about that, but maybe they do. Who knows? So, yeah, that's the bulk of it, man. Patrons, we have your gifts. Those are in my possession. Those are ready to be mailed out. I have all 3 of your addresses. The problem that I'm running into is trying to figure out international shipping, so please bear with me on that. Those of you that are in the U.S., though, yours should be coming to you guys here. By the time this episode comes out, it should only be a few days, theoretically, before it gets to you. So hopefully you guys will get it soon. Hopefully you guys will enjoy your prize, and we thank you very much for, being a patron in the very first month of its existence, as well as bearing with us here, because we still owe you an extra episode for March and April. So that's still coming as well. And then we got April's giveaway right around the corner. So those of you listening, you get 4 entries as Helena's Angels, and then 3 entries at the $10 tier, 2 at the $5 tier, and 1 at the $1 tier, and that will enter you into a chance to win the giveaway. So if you also want a chance to win some sweet merchandise, which I'm also looking into getting like stickers and bumper stickers and stuff made, so merch is incoming. Keep that on the horizon here. But sign up for the Patreon if you want a chance to win the giveaways. Long story short, it's weird to ask people to give us money, so I get really socially awkward at this time every time. But if you like what we do and you want to help us get better equipment and better software and invest in merch and stuff like that, then the Patreon is a great way to do that. Whether you do or do not, we love you. Thank you anyway. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you to the Patreons. And thank you to everyone that listened this far. As of recent, you guys have really been killing it on listening throughout the whole episode. Maybe that's because, Matt and I are just awesome, as always. So thank you guys for sticking around. I just appreciate the heck out of you all. And Matt, do you have anything else to say?
I can ramble about how much I love these guys forever, but we do it for you guys, so thank you so much. We really appreciate each and every single one of you, especially those of you that are here every week for us. So thank you guys very much. I hope you guys have a great week in the Ark and in real life. May the odds be forever in your favor. Have a good week, guys.
Have a good rest of your week. Beach Bobs, keep on surviving.